Hi, hello and welcome to a longer video. I will react in this video to my own video, Geography in Israel. This is the intro. It's a day later. I intended to edit and also upload the video in the night, but I was then very tired. I finished the video at 3 a.m. in the morning, and it was, the editing takes a while. It is 2 hours long, the video nearly, and also then processing everything and rendering everything. It takes a while, so it's now a day later. It's the same day. Technically, it's now um still the 9th of March, but it is 1 p.m. 1:30, 40 p.m. So a little later. Just to keep this in mind, maybe this is a permanent ceasefire right now. I don't think so. I would have seen this, I guess. But who knows? What is argued or discussed behind the scenes, behind closed doors? Maybe there are some negotiations already taking place. Who knows? Or I should say, right now, suddenly, after 5 months or so. But who knows? So just for you to know this, it's the 9th of March, 1:40 p.m. It's a genocide. So of course, my view on Israel is very negative, because this country is committing a genocide right now. At least plausible, and for everyone who has a decent, everyone who is a decent human being, they see the suffering and the structural violence Israel is perpetrating towards the Palestinian people. But it's about the and I hope that the ICJ also concludes that Israel is committing a genocide at some point in the future. Of course, then it's too late for the people, which then are probably already displaced in the Sinai Peninsula or somewhere else, or are all dead. But it will be still good if this concludes in the right way and Israel is found guilty as genocide, or at least committing genocidal acts. Like, for example, also what the I'm not sure what minister this was, Galant, this guy who said no water, no fuel, no food. It's all closed. We are fighting human animals and we are acting accordingly. Very few days after October 7th, but yes. There is also an issue later in the video. I have to maybe put my own audio again on it, because I was muted at some point. I think I'm not sure if this happens often, but at one point at the end of the last recording, there's an issue with not an issue. I was muted. Which is an issue, but it was not nothing which I did. It's not a technical issue. I just was stupid to mute myself, and then I was muted when I talked. But either way, I will edit the video now. It will be roughly 2 hours. The original video from Geography Now is just 20 minutes long, so my own reaction was half an hour, and this reaction is more than 4 times as long than my own reaction, and 6 times as long as the original video. So I guess that's alright. I have my own thoughts. I put very much of my own thoughts into this video. I will also put it as a new video people see first when they look on my channel. Here, look on I think one of the most popular. Are they the most populist? I don't think so. If I hear the most favorite videos you see here, the Geography Now US, UK, France, and Poland. Okay, but that's not so much important right now. I just want to give you an overview. Here, my last videos. Please check this out if you want. Completely besides the point of this video, but if you're interested in seeing more often Shinta, my teddy bear with a Palestinian scarf, then click there. This is more or less the intro to the intro. because at the beginning of the reaction I will now edit this 35 minutes or so, where I talk about my own political views and why I do this. But I will have chapters in this video, so you can skip it. But I have definitive not of course not anti-Semitic. I'm atheist. Uh, of course there are atheist people who are anti-Semitic, but I don't care about religion. I think all religions are kind of stupid, but I have nothing against Jews or Christians or Muslims or so. I have something against people who commit genocide or have an apartheid state, discriminate, use violent force to dominate other people. I have something against. I have something against right-wing assholes, but nothing against Jews. Some of the best people I know are Jews. Finkelstein. Einstein also. Einstein was he a Jew? But it doesn't matter, you know. I don't know if someone is gay. I don't know if someone is religious. If I see him, and I don't care about this. I listen to what they are talking, and that's important. But from Norman Finkelstein, I know he's a Jew, and he is one of the greatest guys I ever heard on the internet. Especially when he is talking about the Palestinian-Israel issues and the genocide right now. So please check out videos from about where he debates people. If you want, I will have maybe a link in the description. Check out Hassan Abi and GDF, and let's start with the video. It's already far too long. Even if I don't talk anything more. So 1, 2, 3. Hi, hello and welcome. And this is the first time I do something like this. That I do a reaction to a reaction. And it is okay, as maybe I reacted once to a very small part of something else, but is it the first time I react to my own video, to my own old reaction? This video is from last year. It has 156 views, and I hope this video gets more views. But either way, it's also right late in the night. It's right after 1 p.m. 1 a.m. in the night. But I want to do this. I want to do this reaction. A reaction to geography now Israel. To the reaction I did last year to this geography now Israel. I know it's not about politics. It's not politics now. But still, I want to talk also about politics. You cannot watch a video like this and not talk about politics in the moment when Israel is committing a genocide, at least a plausible genocide, according to the International Court of Justice, and according to what any decent human being can see if they watch the news and see the death toll. So, I'll read through the accusation from South Africa. I have not done this. I have just watched videos about the accusation and about the genocide case, but everything I have read so far, and many people I very much trust about this said it is very, very likely a genocide, and Den Haag, the ICJ, is saying it is plausible genocide. So, and nothing controversial to say about this. And I understand that many people have very negative feelings towards Israel or hate it straightforward right now. Sometimes I feel the same because it's just too disgusting what you see and what IDF soldiers do and post videos about or post pictures about. Sometimes you really cannot say anything else than it's disgusting, apparent, and cruel what they are doing. But of course, there are many people in Israel which hate the situation as much as I do, and any other decent human being. Just yesterday or so, I stayed up quite late in the night and watched the State of the Union speech from Biden. It was very tired, of course. It was at 4:35 a.m. in the morning in German time, and it is it was more or less the biggest part was more or less boring. But when he then finally spoke about Palestine, this the part I was most interested in. He announced that the U.S. military would construct a temporarily port or pier on the coast of Gaza, in the north of Gaza, I think, to distribute some more aid, and I was happy about this. I was very excited at first, but then I heard a few people. I think it was Kai Kolinski and Crystal. And I don't know her the second name. I think they are Crystal and Kai Kolinski. They are in a relationship or so, but I'm not sure exactly. But Breaking Points and on the Kai Kolinski show from the Secular Talk, and now also by Owen Jones, I heard that this is probably not happening very much because Israel is still controlling what goes into Gaza, and they also hindered or stopped humanitarian aid by road at Rafah and other crossings, I think. So the same difficulties to get aid into Gaza will also probably exist per ship. It's not clear if this will be the case because it is just yesterday announced, and I think today or tomorrow should become the first shipment of aid from Cyprus to Gaza. So I'm not sure. Maybe it will work out wonderful, but even if there would be a ceasefire right now, no any longer any more strikes, any more rocket bombs or anything like this, there would still be probably thousands of people starving to death because of the actions Israel has done already so far. Until the current date is, just so you know, the 9th of March. So early in the morning, 9th of March, 1:30 a.m. or so in the morning. So until this point of time, I think I mean the war's ongoing, and even if there would be a ceasefire right now, at this very moment, there would be still hundreds of I think probably tens of thousands of people who would die, probably starved to death, and just through the actions which which are already being done to them, to Gaza, to the people of Gaza, to the Palestinians. And I of course feel as a German also guilt, feel ashamed of what my country has done to the people of Gaza and people of Palestine in general over the history, but especially since October 7 and how we delivered weapons to Israel, how we abstained, I think, on multiple UN General Assembly decisions, abstained and not voted in favor of decisions. As far as I remember, there were multiple occasions where Germany abstained, which is shameful. And that we also said that we would defend Israel at the ICJ. It's shameful. Shame on the German politician. Shame on my government. I have not the last time I voted, I have not voted for one of the parties which are now in the government, but I think even the party I voted for, the Linke, the left, the most left-leaning party, which was also is which always or often in the last decades have been in the parliament since the late 90s, I think. And ever since I voted, they have been in the parliament. I think they are also loyal to Israel, which I still have to check out and research about, because I don't want to vote anymore in my life for any party which supported Israel in this time, and delivered weapon was in favor of delivering weapons, so I don't want to be a part of this. I don't want to be a part in genocide. I don't want to burn myself to death like Aaron Bushnell in the US, but I don't want to be part of the genocide, so I don't want to ever vote for any party who supported this. At multiple times I wrote in comments on Reddit or on Twitter, not Twitter, I don't have Twitter any longer, but on YouTube, that I support Palestine always, that I don't support Israel. I also made a video about this, I think, but it was 16th of January, I think, and things have changed quite a lot. It's depressingly to watch news these days. I was watching this video from Owen Jones. I have maybe a link in the description to it, or you can just take a look on the playlist. All kind of good videos, all kind of different videos. I'm not sure. The playlist, maybe there will be a link in the description. Otherwise, you will find it where I post by save good videos, political videos and other things. I have maybe to check this playlist through and go through it and delete some of the, or put some videos in other playlists, so there are only the very good videos in there. But either way, I want to react to this video, to my own video. I'm half an hour. I will try to edit this video also tonight and upload it. So if it comes at 3, 4, 5 in the morning, you know why? Because I can't sleep. I will not go to bed before this is ready and on YouTube. If YouTube decides to age restricted or give me a strike would be unrealistic, but make it age restricted, then they should do so. But I have to speak my mind. I cannot do much to change history. I cannot go to the German government and force them to do something which is morally right or humane. If they want to be inhumane and support genocide, I can't change this. I wish I could. I wish I had some kind of power. I wish I would have more subscribers who watch this video and I could spread good news, or maybe not good news, but influence people in a positive way. I don't know that I don't think that I have always the right opinion, but in this case I have. The right side of history is on the side of Palestine, against apartheid, against occupation, and against genocide. I try to be consistent in my political opinions. I try to be always against war. That's why I often also write comments about the war in Ukraine. I am against delivering weapons to Ukraine. I'm for peace negotiations, and sometimes I get called, people call me a Putin troll. But I don't like the conservative Russian government as well. I wish it would be much more left-leaning. I wish they would be much more open-minded to LGBTQ things, right? Everyone should have the right to live the life they want. But it's not about Russia and Ukraine in this video, it's about Israel and Palestine. Of course, Jericho Finau, Paul, who makes these videos, will not talk much about he will talk about the politics, but only very shortly, for 5 minutes or so, and then he will talk about the rest of the video about other things which are also interesting. Every country has its culturally interesting things, which also in this case he will probably not talk about things which are connected to the war. He will also not, of course, the war didn't start at the point. We will also not talk about apartheid and discrimination. I will in between. I wanted just to make this longer introduction to also tell you guys why I do this. But now let's start with the video. I will probably stop often enough to either comment what I said a year ago or talk about the video itself. Shinta is with me, of course. It's my Palestine teddy. Boss, if you want to see us more, you can watch the playthrough of Trade into Reverie. We both are there often together. Now let's start with the video. Geography now, Israel. A Dream of Peace, a Geography now, Israel and Palestine, German direction. Let's go. Let's see if the volume is good. Okay, I might be on 50 and start again. Hello and welcome to another episode. Today I will react to a Geography now, Israel. I thought about doing this a while. Now it is really time. By the way, something unrelated to the genocide, but important for reactions. I always pause when I say something about the video, and I don't mind if the reaction is then double as long as the original video or not. I think the original video was 20 minutes. My reaction was 33, and this video will be likely much longer. Yes. He said it also in the beginning of the video, but this will probably piss off at least some people that I make this reaction. I guess I said this because of course some people don't even recognize that Israel exists. It's stupid. It does, and it has an enormous amount of power. But yeah, I understand why I said this, and why Paul will also say this. The guy here from Geography now. I am neither from Israel nor from Palestine, so I can't really say something about this conflict so much. At the time, I think I was also much less educated about this. Now, sadly, I know much more about this. I mean, knowledge is good, but the reason for this knowledge, like the genocide, and the discrimination, the apartheid, I'm not sure if I already watched so many videos about this at the time I made the reaction. I think I watched some videos, for example, from Hasanabi. I can also recommend some videos from him to you guys, and of course GDF and many more. But I would say Hassan Abi and GDF are two of the, for me, more important reasons why I know much more about the conflict, the history of the conflict, and possible solutions to end it. And I don't claim to have any solution for this, so don't say this. I claim I have a solution. No. A two-state solution is very unlikely, but if you want to have a two-state solution and you claim you want it, then you should know that this would also mean to remove roughly 300,000 Israeli settlers from the West Bank. And yeah, this would be, I think, very difficult, but you have to know that this is a part of this. The West Bank and the Gaza Strip are sovereign territory of Palestine, and 1967 Israel invaded or occupied the West Bank, and through the peace talks in the 90s, the Palestinian Authority got some authority over the West Bank, but there are still 3 levels of, as you will also explain, of territorially authority, and I think the Palestinian Authority is also very hated from the Palestinian population. because they often work together with Israel and enforce the Israeli domination. From what I have heard, so they are not very popular. But yeah, this would be important for a two-state solution to have the settlers removed. And I personally advocate for a one-state solution. It is effectively already a one-state, the state of Israel, controlling the Palestinian territories by force in the moment, but in the future, in a one-state solution future, it might be the case that they all live together with equal rights in a secular state, and of course all Palestinian people which have been expelled over the time, especially in 1948 and 1949 maybe, 700,000 people were expelled in the Nakba, which means in Arabic catastrophe. All of these people and their descendants, children and grandchildren, of course, need the right to return to the rightful land they were expelled from. And then also war crime tribunals where everyone who committed a war crime is held accountable under equal rights, and yeah, and equal rights, of course. So the apartheid state must be lifted. When you want to know more about this, also watch a video from GDF. I have maybe a link in the description. I know he made a good video about this and explained why Israel is an apartheid state and what in Israel's laws is apartheid. Another reaction, another video. I forgot to turn off the setting that every 20 minutes there will be a new recording automatically started. So I hope there's no gap between the recordings, but they definitely need to lift the apartheid state, dissolve it. It is immoral, it's apparent, it's cruel, it's disgusting, and it never should have happened in the first place, of course. So I favor a one-state solution where everyone live in one state together peacefully. The road to this is a long road. It's a long way. It needs international pressure. Israel by itself will never do this, of course. Why should they? They have the absolute support from the United States, United Kingdom, and other countries, the rest. So why should they ever move away from the position of domination if they are not forced to? That's why also boycott movements like BDS and maybe other movements are so important. And it's important that we keep up the pressure, that the demonstrations go on and so on, that we continuously demand justice. It's important. Only through also actions like the uncommitted vote in the US primaries, for example in Michigan, we were able to cause some, bring some people to think about this, and also the media to skip a little bit or to switch a little bit, and also see what the United States is doing, like the primary supporter of Israel and it's a genocide now. But yeah, I think a one-state solution would be good. Let's continue. See like this in the comments. I don't. I just see how a bit of how things work, or I see kind of some things which happen, or heard what I think in the moment I see far too much. We are just less than 1 minute in the video and it's already over 20 minutes now. But yeah, I have the feeling I don't understand too much. It's good to understand as much as possible, but I think about this very much. I think about this, the horror the Palestinian people are they go through, the horror they go through, also because of my government, because of the Europe, the Great Britain, the US, but as me, as a German, I feel ashamed because my government is also supporting this and not trying to bring peace to the region. Watch videos about it. So I'm just a German reacting to this. I don't think that I think you can criticize Israel as a German, as anyone in the world. Of course you can, and it's stupid to believe otherwise. It's stupid to believe that if you also it's stupid to believe that anti-Zionism is in any way, shape or form similar to anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism is absolutely not okay. It's cruel. It's disgusting. It's pathetic. But anti-Zionism is just against the Zionist movement, and it does not have anything to do with Jews in general. Many Jewish people are against Zionism. One of the greatest professors and scholars. I'm not sure if he's still a professor. I've ever seen or heard about talking about this issue, the Palestinian issue. The is Norman Finkelstein. He's wonderful. He's great. I always love to watch debates where he debates other people or talks about issue. Norman Finkelstein. I have even a book from him. I have not read so much in it so far. I have to read more. I'm a little bit lazy. I will try to not be lazy too much. But now let's continue. I just think about it. I have to edit everything tonight, and I will do it. It's not anti-Semitism when you just criticize. It's anti-Semitism if you say something against the Jews. But yeah, I'm not doing this. So, with this being said, I try to react to this in the most neutral way possible. He was neutral. I am not neutral. I'm of course also not anti-Semitic or something like this. I am not religious, but I don't care about other people's religion. But I'm not neutral. In the way of that I am very much negative. I have a negative opinion of Israel, very much. I have seen those people who those Israeli citizens who block the delivering of aid to Gaza. How they celebrate, how they dance around, and of course these are just extremists. There are probably a lot of people, at least a small minority. I'm not sure how many people at the moment, which are against apartheid, against oppression, against domination, the violent domination, and very much in favor of a peaceful coexistence. But of course, those voices who are the loudest sometimes come from a small minority. But yeah, I have no polls here in the moment. I don't say anything about how many people in Israel maybe claim or support what position. I just say that I have seen these pictures, which are of course disgusting. But I have also seen and heard this interview Hassan Abi did with a second guest from with a Israeli Knesset member who very much supports Palestinian liberation and this peaceful coexistence. And I think he is in a different country right now and was expelled from the Knesset, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, there are awesome, wonderful people in Israel and in Palestine who work together and try to get Netanyahu out of office. Netanyahu and his war cabinet are of course war criminals. They should go to Den Haag and be prosecuted for war crimes. You can say the same thing about those people who committed the October 7 attacks, but I think it's also very, right now, in this moment, very pathetic to still talk about October 7. What happened on October 7 were massacre, unjustifiable murders of innocent Israeli civilians and Israeli soldiers. But to talk right now still about this, when 30,000 at least 30,000 Palestinians have been murdered by Israel, is somehow also weird. I think roughly every week, Palestine or Gaza suffered October 7 in the way of casualties. Like every week or so, 1,000 people get murdered, sometimes more. And who knows how many are already dead. I heard some people say that 40 or 50,000 people are probably dead, but the official number is just 30,000. And many more are dead under the rubble. But it's difficult right now to get accurate numbers from this conflict, this genocide. And if you say Israel has the right to self-defense, you are right. But on the first few days after October 7, when there were still militants inside of Israel proper, like outside of the Gaza Strip, they had the right. They had the right to self-defend themselves from those attack militants and maybe even kill them if necessary. But it's not a justification for what they are doing right now in Gaza. It's not a justification to bomb Gaza. Self-defense. And the police also doesn't bomb a neighborhood because a few people from there took part in a violent robbery or murdered someone and then fled back into the part of the city they came from, the neighborhood. So also if I hit you in the face, you have the complete full right to hit me back, but you don't have the right to hit me back and when I then lay on the floor and can't defend myself anymore, you don't have the right to kick me and hit me and hit me to death. So self-defense is to do similar harm to the person which did some harm to you, like in the example, I hit you and you hit me back. That's self-defense. But it's not the justification for genocide. There is, in fact, no justification for genocide or genocidal acts. But anyway, and I don't even know why I stopped the video. Let's continue. I'm of course against any kind of violent or conflict, and this conflict is one of the most longest conflict in modern history. So 75 years, I think, right now. Yeah. A little over 100 years if you consider also the British Mandate time, and but if you just consider the time the state of Israel existed from is it 75 or do they? I heard the number 75, but I'm not sure where exactly they started. But no, 75. It's 48. 48. They created the state of Israel. I know it's 2023, so it's roughly 75 years, maybe even exactly 75 years. But if you take also into account the years before in the after World War One, and I think after World War One, the British government took over with the part which, I mean, before the First World War and during the First World War, the Ottoman Empire was ruling this part of the land, and according to sources I have I have seen videos and so, and people I have heard talking about this before the First World War, during the time of the Ottoman Empire, Jewish, Christian, and Muslims lived peacefully there. together in coexistence. But yeah, okay. 75 years. And I'm for peace. So I'm also for peace. That's why I advocate for Palestinian liberation and justice, equality, the dissolvement of the apartheid state, and so on. That's the most important thing to speak. That I want to. It's the most important thing that I want to bring closer to you. That peace is an option, and we should always try to reach peace. In this situation, as the same between Russia and Ukraine, peace is the most important thing. More important than the most other things I can imagine. You can write something in the comments. You can say that I'm completely wrong, but peace is the most important thing for me, and I think also for the people who live in these areas, whether now Israel, Palestine, the Gaza Strip, or Ukraine. For the general public, I am still think that's the case. That peace is for the most people the most important. For the Israeli government, I'm not sure. I mean, who knows what is going on in Benjamin Netanyahu's mind? I don't know. So, with this being said, without further ado, let's get into this video. Subscribe for my channel if you like my content, if you agree with me, or if you just want to watch other videos from me. Take a look on the other videos I made. Isn't it funny that we are already roughly, I guess, 35 minutes into the video, and a real reaction has not yet started. And you will maybe find something which is interesting. Anyway, we will start now. I'm not sure when I will upload this video, but yeah, we will start right now.
Alright, this is gonna be the most controversial video I've ever made.
Yes, roughly 35 minutes. Start of the real reaction. I will have chapters in this thing, I guess. Maybe not too many chapters, maybe just start and I don't know. But yeah, let's go on.
Even saying the word Israel will ignite an onslaught of tense debates between multiple people groups. No matter what I say in this video, somebody will get mad on either side of the argument when it comes to Israel's current place held in today's world. I am not Israeli, I am not Arab, and I am definitely not claiming to be your go-to authority when it comes to Israel and Palestine issues. All I can say is...
For me, it goes the same. I don't claim to be an expert of anything. I just I don't claim that I'm an expert, also not right now, a year later, but I say I'm much more educated about this than ever before. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. Maybe I will be able to answer them, or I can recommend a video to you. But yeah. I mean, I was much more careful at the time of uploading this video. Right now I am more open to also say that Israel is an apartheid state, which I say now. I have no issue with this. I think it is an apartheid state, and also many human rights organizations agree with me. So that's nothing controversial anymore. But yeah, if you have any questions, you can ask me. I can maybe recommend something for you, or even answer it myself. Can tell you what I have watched and what I have heard, but I don't claim to have any solution or being an expert.
I have contacted many of you guys, the Israeli and Palestinian subscribers, for help with this video. I've conglomerated all the information I could based off of what you said and added it with my research. I will try to make this video as plain and objective as I possibly can based off of the data, but it's not easy and it won't be perfect, but I will try. So without further ado, let's begin.
The same goes, by the way, also when I react to the video geography now North Korea, which I just see here in the suggestions. So I will also react to this at some point, but not today. Another day. And it is not, I think, not that controversial, and also not that That's the the amount of people I piss off or anger in this video is much higher than in North Korea episode because it's just South Korea, I think, and maybe some Americans, but the most are quite neutral to this country. Are much more neutral than to that country we are reacting right now to.
It's time to learn geography now! Now, to most people today, the USA and China might be the giants of geopolitical impact. However, literally.
Hi. Just, I mean, it's, it's not anything too important. I mean, it is apparent. Ayel Yahoo Mali, an Israeli Gabi, says kill everyone in Gaza, even babies, shoot them.
Over half of the world is keeping their eyes on this one small sliver of land straddling 3 continents, smaller than the size of El Salvador. Why is it that this one piece of land has such a powerful hold on billions of people? How did it get...
You know that how small El Salvador is, and I can check right now, but I'm a little bit scared to find this out, but I will still do it. How many bombs they dropped on this little. The war in Gaza in the Gaza Strip is generating destruction comparable in scale to the most devastating urban warfare in the modern record. By mid-December, Israel had dropped 29,000 bombs, munitions, and shells on the Strip. Mid-December. Israel has dropped more than 45,000 bombs on Gaza, weighing more than 65,000 tons. The Gaza Media Office has said. So you can do with this whatever you want. I mean, it is devastating. I have seen maps where they show what has been destroyed, and if you then also know that more than half of Gaza's buildings have been completely or partly destroyed. In the moment, there are, I think, roughly 2 million people who are homeless from a population of 2.3 million. So, yeah. And people are starving to death right now, as we speak. So, keep this in mind. Keep this in mind if you, when you, hear anything about Israel. I mean, I would love to visit the country. Not so much Israel, but more Palestine. But in the moment, you need to go through Israel to visit Palestine. And I would like to talk to some left Israelis. As more left as possible, because even if the most left Israeli is probably still much more right to me than anyone who's left here in Germany or in the US or in Great Britain. But yeah, as left as possible.
Become the epicenter of worldview tension? The answer is incredibly complex, and in no way could I possibly answer everything in this episode, but what I can do is try to relay as much.
I wish that he said that after the last episode, Zambia or Zimbabwe, I think Zimbabwe, he will make more videos where he travels to regions and capture some of the things you can only you best see for yourself and makes videos about them, like travel videos. He wants to do something like this after he has done with the last country, which is, I think, Zimbabwe. And I hope he will also visit Israel and Palestine then at some point. he was recently in Cyprus and inside the UN buffer zone and on the airport from Nicosia, the old airport, I think, which is only with a supervisor from the United Nations. This was possible, but maybe he can also visit the West Bank. It would be interesting to see a video about this.
Information as I can to give a platform for insight.
There's also another video I will maybe put into the description from real life lore about this exact same country, Israel, and really. No comments? Yeah, but no, that's the original video. I didn't put the link to the other video in the description. I'm not sure if I find this video, but maybe not. How an alien would maybe not understand why. Maybe I will put it in the top comment also. I'm not sure how much time I have this night. This small strip of land at the coast of the Mediterranean is so important to so many people in the world that they have so many wars and so many violence is going on about this country, and yeah, how an alien would not understand this. I will just put the link in the description. Real life Flo can explain this much better.
Man, it is going to be really hard to be like funny and quirky in this video. At least the first part is going to be kind of easy. Actually, no, it won't.
Nah, there's nothing easy about this video.
And our first course of controversy. Woohoo! I can already hear the keyboard warriors typing up paragraphs in caps lock. Not much I can do, so let's just ride this pony into the sunset, shall we? Today, the state of Israel is located in the Middle East, surrounded by Egypt, Jordan, Syria, and Lebanon, with the Mediterranean Sea to the west, and a very narrow coast along the Gulf of Aqaba in the south, which connects to the Red Sea. The country is divided into 6 administrative districts, or mehil.
In the Red Sea, there had been this attacks from the Houthis, who were trying to cause some economical pressure on Israel. Kind of the only country which really did something in accordance to international law to prevent genocide from taking place. Other countries stopped diplomatic relations with Israel, but it didn't. I mean, it wasn't that powerful. But I think the Houthis really tried something. And were more or less successful. Many ships, many shipping companies, even now that the US is bombing Yemen, are avoiding the area. So maybe partly it's successful. Either way, they tried it. That's something many other countries did not do. Because according to the Geneva Convention, which I think Yemen is a part of, but in accordance to this convention, any country who is a signature to this convention have to try and do everything they can to prevent other countries from committing genocidal acts and genocides. So, at least after the ICJ ruled that it is plausible that Israel is committing genocide, what the Houthis did has some kind of justification, more than just as a morally justification, which is nothing you can really point on. But now you can point to the ICJ ruling, which ruled that Israel is plausible committing a genocide. That's why they issued these orders, which I think Israel is largely ignoring. But of course, I'm not a lawyer, but I hope this gets soon decided. I'm not sure when the second hearing will be. I think in March at some point, but yeah, let's see. I'm curious about this. I mean, it should be at the end of March, because on the 26th of January, I think, although it maybe already had to take place the second hearing, end of January, the 26th of January, I think, the orders were issued, and yes, I am not sure how the the ICG will continue. If it will at some point order a ceasefire, which I hope they will do, but let's see.
As well as the claimed but not completely internationally recognized capital of Jerusalem near the center. And here's what you're all waiting for, the Palestine stuff. These two areas right here are known as the West Bank, Israelis call them Judea and Samaria, and the Gaza Strip. These are, according to Israelis, disputed territories, and according to the UN, Israeli-occupied territories that are not recognized as part of Israel, but make up the larger entity commonly known as Palestine, or at least the
I think also Palestine, the Palestine state has a seat in the. They have an observer state at the United Nations. So the same goes to the Holy See, which is the Vatican. They both have an observer state, but they are not officially a member of the United Nations because they don't have enough states supporting them, I think. Or because some I'm not sure if it needs a two-third majority to be a member state or to be or if the United Security Council has to agree, and the US always vetoed a full membership, but they only have a observer state, I think, since 2006 or 2008. I'm not sure. Maybe also a different date, but maybe just since 15 years or 12 years. I'm not exactly sure. United Nations General Assembly. If it's just an observer state, I didn't knew that I would also say it in the video. So. Yeah, I say double. I think that's true.
Palestinian state. Parts of these two entities are currently ruled by different Palestinian authorities, the West Bank under Fatah and Gaza under Hamas. In addition, even though Ramallah acts as kind of like a capital to the West Bank.
By the way, I'm not sure how many people know this, but as far as I know, and according to stuff I have seen, Netanyahu personally and the Israeli establishment and the government, they supported the rise of Hamas as a more violent opposition, so to divert, to make it so that the West Bank and the Gaza Strip organization, Hamas and Fatah, separate them, so the Palestinian people have not a common government, but two separate ones, and they I think also took care that the most violent opposition, Hamas in the Gaza Strip, is the most powerful, but maybe I'm wrong here. I'm not exactly sure. I have heard this. So yeah.
Palestinian Authority area, the city of Jerusalem is kind of seen as like the rightful capital of both entities. However, it's one big confusing mess of semi and fully barricaded neighborhoods with walls and checkpoints that extend all the way to the West Bank that would make your head spin if you even attempted to explain it. But I'll try! Basically, this right here, known as the Armistice or the Green Line, was established shortly after the start of modern-day Israel. Now here's the thing, although it looks like a concise division, the Green Line technically isn't a full nation-state border division, as it was set up as a ceasefire line. And this is where legal.
This is the crucial part. He will also talk about this, about the settlements, the illegal settlements which are recognized under international law as being illegal, which are spread around the entire West Bank, and so there's not a continuous West Bank Palestinian state thing, but thousands or hundreds of little small areas which are not connected. In between, the Israeli army has checkpoints and walls and barriers, and so yeah. If we would have a two-state solution, and if you advocate for a two-state solution, you should be aware about it. All of these barriers, settlements, checkpoints, they all have to be dismantled, and this will of course be a lot of work, but moreover, it would be very difficult to remove those 300 or 400,000 settlers which are illegally there occupying the West Bank, to remove them back into Israel proper. So if you advocate for a two-state solution, know about this.
semantics get really messy. Israel has had a lot of conflicts since independence, but basically after the 6-Day War, in which pretty much everyone surrounding them attacked, Israel actually won and took over pretty much the entire state, plus the Sinai Peninsula and the Golan Heights, which has the UN Disengagement Observer Force Zone that manages the border with Syria. While everyone was taking forever to decide what to do with the newly acquired land, should they give it back for peace or should they partition it, Israelis just kind of moved into the West Bank anyway since they figured the armistice line was no longer under ceasefire status. Eventually they gave back the entire Sinai Peninsula to Egypt for peace, but then by the time they addressed the West Bank, there were already over 100,000 Israelis living there.
And I think this number comes from the 90s, when the peace talks took place. But since then, this number increased to, I think, 300,000, maybe even 400,000 settlers.
And that's kind of where things got really messy. After all the settlements were set up in the West Bank, it kind of chopped up the map into pockety Palestinian neighborhood.
This looks, I think it looks even worse than this right now. But you see all of the small green territories where I think the dark green they have full authority, the light green they have civil authority, but Israeli military rule, and everything blue is full Israeli control. So you see this little Bantu states, I think are they called, kind of, where they have some kind of authority, but they cannot really connect. They have no possibility to reach one another. They need to go through Israeli checkpoints. The streets are so Israeli citizen and Palestinian citizen of Israel also drive on different roads. They are separated everywhere, and especially the West Bank. And yeah, that's what people also mean if for example mean if they talk about apartheid. There's more to apartheid in Israel. You can watch this video from GDF, which will be linked in the description to get further information.
Islands, these areas.
It looks quite very messy. This but of course, if the Israeli already moved there after this war and then are now living there, and I see why it is complicated. Why also trying to find now is the complicated part. I think I mean in the moment I'm not sure what I was referring to, but right now I would say the complicated part is the two-state solution. A one-state solution would be simple. It would still, of course, dismantle the checkpoints because they are not longer necessary. But then everyone would just could just continue to live there where they live, except maybe if Palestinian refugees which were expelled come back and want to live again in the house, which is still standing. If it's still standing, many houses or villages have been destroyed by Israel. But so then in this case, maybe the Israeli settlers would have to go anyway. But it would not be such a mess to move away hundreds of thousands of settlers in a one-state solution, because many Palestinian, some Palestinians would maybe even not want to return to their homeland because they already have a life somewhere else, but also those who want to come back and whose villages don't exist anymore will also maybe move to the big cities. But yeah, sometimes probably the settlers would also still have to go because they want to go back into the house, which they should have the right for, of course. But yeah, it's disgusting. It's messy and it's disgusting. As I said, I'm in favor of a one-state solution. In the best interest of both entities, both countries. It is really difficult to. I mean, of course, you could just force to. It should be primarily in the interest of the Palestinian people, because they are the people who were treated disgusting and apparent and cruel in the past, and that's because Europeans treated Jewish people over many hundreds or even thousands of years, I'm not sure, very bad. This is not the fault of the Palestinian people who lived there for many hundreds of years peacefully, and for a long time also peacefully with Jewish people together, I think. So, and in the Middle Age, in the last 1,500 years or so, I'm not exactly sure. I think since how long was the Middle Age? 1,000 years, from 1500 to 1500. Jewish people were treated very bad in Europe, and also after the Middle Age, in the modern age. But it's still not the fault of the Palestinian people. But yeah, a peaceful solution would still, of course, be if they just live peacefully together, equal rights, a secular state, no favorite religion. It's not a Jewish state, it's not a Muslim state, it's not a Christian state, it's a secular state. I am in favor of secular states in general. I think it is quite like old-fashioned to still have religious states anywhere in the world. So whether now Israel should not be a Jewish state as much as Saudi Arabia shouldn't be maybe a Muslim state, because I think it's just outdated. But that's my personal view. But I think it would be in the best interest of all people who want to live in this land if it is a secular state. The Israelis which live in the West Bank to move out again into Israel, but I mean they have lived there now also a while, so it's really complicated, and I think one of the I don't have any solution, but if they would just get along with each other, it's easy to say, of course, it would be better, but yeah, it's messy. It's messy, and I say it again, I don't claim to have a solution. It's just I see when there's then all of these small entities, and then hard borders with passport check and all of this stuff, it's really complicated.
These are kind of divided into three separate types of divisions established by the Oslo Accords in the 90s, areas A, B, and C. Type A makes up about 18% of the West Bank, but with the largest populations, classified as being under full control of the Palestinian Authority. Type B, about 22% of the land is under Palestinian civil authority, but under Israel.
So it was the other way around. Light green was full authority and dark green civil authority. My bad.
Security control. Finally, Area C, which makes up about 60% of the land, is the mostly uninhabited area of the West Bank, which is pretty much under Israeli control, and Palestinians must obtain a permit to build there, although getting a permit is
it's much that's really messy. The largest chunk, the largest part of the area is fully under control of Israel, and the largest part of the territory which should be under full Palestinian authority, because it is the West Bank. It is a part, according to the partition plan from the British, which is maybe even not good, or not just, but according to this plan, all of this territory should be Palestinian authority and not Israeli. Just the light green stuff is really controlled by Palestine. That's messy. Also because they can't really, I mean, there are so many small chunks of full controlled by Palestine, and then they have to always go through Israel controlled area by not giving them which is, of course, very much, I mean, it's obviously, it's very wanted that they have to, this separation from the territories, is that they can't organize, that they can't have a real state. That's wanted, that's deliberated. A complete part which has all together, which they have one big chunk of land. But yeah, I'll just give them everything. I mean, I have no solution, as I said. It looks quite messy.
pretty difficult. This is where most of the Israeli settlements are, and about 5% of Israel's population lives with about 500,000 Israeli citizens. But the biggest issue, finally, Jerusalem. Why is Jerusalem so important? First of all, Jerusalem was completely annexed after the Six-Day War, even though it was split previously by the Green Line. They tried to establish a very carefully structured, religiously sensitive format that allowed the three major religions to kind of each grab at Jerusalem, giving pre-1967 Arab residents in East Jerusalem and their descendants permanent residency status and the ability to apply for citizenship. However, to this day, the move is still still not well received, and the majority of UN member states do not exactly recognize the annexation, as most of them believe that Jerusalem should be under international status. And in terms of why everyone makes such a huge fuss over Jerusalem, well, in the shortest way I can answer this, it contains the holiest site to Jews and the third holiest in Islam, the Temple Mount. What is the Temple Mount? Well, according to what we know from ancient recorded history from both internal and external sources, this place was the claimed site of the first and second Jewish temples thousands of years ago until it was destroyed by the Babylonians first, and then rebuilt only to be again destroyed by the Romans. Then it was made into a temple for the god of Jupiter until the Umayyads came in the 7th century AD and built the Dome of the Rock, which is a shrine, not a mosque, the Dome of the Chains, which is a prayer house, not a shrine, and the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which is a mosque. To the Jewish community, the dream is to one day rebuild the Jewish temple a third time on the Temple Mount, but yeah, unless something absolutely insane and globally unprecedented happened, the Muslims would probably never let that happen. And then you get into the Bible and the prophecies, it's very complicated. This episode is so complex, what have I gotten myself into? Okay, so that kind of covers most of the administrative confusion, I think, but honestly, one thing you have to understand is that outside of Jerusalem, the country is actually pretty chill. It's weird, but Israel...
I don't know how this country can be chill if just half of the things I have heard are true about the apartheid state. I have never been in Israel, but what I have heard is absolutely disgusting. In 2017, for example, they passed the nationhood law, which said that only Jewish people can have the only Jewish people can have the right for listen. It's an unofficial translation. There is no official translation, so keep this in mind. I can also probably have linked to this article in the description if you are interested. Article 1 states the land of Israel is the historic motherland of the Jewish people, that the state of Israel is the nation state of the Jewish people, as they exercise their right to self-determination, and the right to self-determination in the state of Israel is exclusive to the Jewish people. Yeah. This exclusive to the Jewish people. The right to self-determination. It is, and I think it is justifiable, criticized to be very much, against Arabs. But there is this interesting video from GDF about this. For example, this. Sorry, I had to go 10 seconds back in the video, but yeah, I will have a link to this in the description, hopefully, and a link to the video from GDF as well. So let's continue. This video is already over an hour long, probably, and it is yeah, we are right now how deep into the video? I'm not far, so let's continue.
Is that outside of Jerusalem, the country is actually pretty chill. It's weird, but
yeah, I had to say that it is weird to say that the country is chill if it's an apartheid state. But maybe the people are just used to it. I think they are used to it. They went through the propaganda, they went through the education, they don't know anything else. So it sounds weird, but yeah, let's just continue.
Israel is like a place where everyone can...
Someone I know was in Israel, and yeah, he was I don't know exactly which city, but he also told me some things, but the Dead Sea, the Tote Meer in German, it should be located between Israel and Lebanon, Jordan, I think, the Yemen. Not Yemen. What the dumb answer? My geography knowledge was maybe not as good as this time, but it is Jordan. Yemen is south of Saudi Arabia and very far away from Israel, which is very salty. And he brought me or us some salt crystals. He took and brought them here. It was my brother, but at the time I didn't say it's my brother. But anyway, it's my brother. I will not tell you anything about him, of course. But yeah. Yes, Dead Sea is very salty. Yes, you can. I think float on the water because it's so salty, but I'm not sure. Yeah, it's interesting.
Be friends if you just don't talk about that one thing. Otherwise,
But it is a very important, this one thing. It is a discrimination of a people group which was indigenous to this land and was expelled in big parts from this land in a violent way by Israeli settlers and the military and maybe in some cases also civilians, but mostly the military and settlers. So yeah, it is very important. This one issue, if you just don't talk about black people in South Africa, you are also maybe chill. You can enjoy your time in South Africa. If you just accept the fact that black people are inferior and are our slaves. So yeah, that's something I cannot be chill about.
the largest cities outside of Jerusalem are Haifa and Tel Aviv on the coast.
Tel Aviv was the city.
And the busiest airports are Tel Aviv International, Eliat Ramon, and Haifa Mikeli International. As a holy site for the three Abrahamic religions, there are too many places to list in terms of notable sites and landmarks, but some of the top ones in both Israeli and West Bank Palestinian areas might include places like the Rosh HaNikra Grottos, the ruins of Caesarea, Masada, the Shrine of St. George, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the Shrine of the Book, Ades Synagogue, Zedekiah's Cave, the Honey Beehive House, the Tomb of the Prophet Samuel, Bethlehem in Galilee, the areas where Jesus was born and lived, Mount of Olives, Garden of Gethsemane, the ruins of Jericho, and Mount Carmel. And of course, pretty much everything in Jerusalem is a historically significant landmark. Oh, and there's that weird micronation, Achzivland.
And yeah, anything about this, please tell me. I heard this before, I wanted to watch the episode of course before, but I don't really understand what it is. So, if you know about this, tell me.
Just look it up. I don't have time to teach you about it. All right, well, that was pretty intense. Luckily, this next segment will be pretty easy. Not much to argue about when it comes to dirt and plants, right? Former Prime Minister Golda Meir once jokingly said, "Let me tell you something we Israelis have against Moses. He took us 40 years through the desert only to bring us to the one spot in the Middle East that has no oil." First of all, Israel is located in the region of the Middle East known as the Levant, or a strip of land bordering the coast of the Mediterranean known for having its unique semi-arid.
There is oil in some Palestinian territories, Gaza Strip, for example. Maybe also one of the reasons why they want to occupy the Gaza Strip and settle in it and push the Palestinian people to the south and possibly even into the Sinai Peninsula, so they can extract some of the oil, offshore oil in the Mediterranean, in the Gaza Strip, or in the waters which would be the Palestinian international waters if Palestine would be fully recognized it.
Lush zones that harbors various types of flora and fauna. The country is divided into four main physical geographic regions: the coastal plains, where about 3/4 of the country lives; the central or Judean hills, mostly located in the north and west bank Palestinian regions; then there's the Negev desert in the south, and the Jordan Rift Valley, which surrounds the longest river in the country, the Jordan, that pretty much makes up Israel's entire eastern border. The tallest mountain is located in the disputed Golan Heights area, being Mount Hermon. Otherwise, within the Green Line, Mount Meron in the North District would be the tallest as well. The interesting thing is that the entire Jordan River pretty much is a byproduct of being located on the Dead Sea Transform Fault System, which lies right where the African and
this would make sense if this is a Dead Sea or is this a Dead Sea? Not sure.
Arabian tectonic plates meet. This means that Israel sometimes is subject to earthquakes, potentially destructive ones, on average about every 80 years. Right at the end of the Jordan River lies the Dead Sea, the lowest point on Earth at...
This is the Dead Sea, okay. Then this scheme makes sense, okay.
Over 420 meters below sea level.
It's not Yemen, it's Jordan. It's Jordan. I'm not sure what I have smoked to say this. I mean, maybe I was just not as good in geography as I am now.
Rainfall is rare between May and September, which means water can be scarce. To combat this, Israel created a unique drip irrigation system in which water directly goes to the roots of plants with little evaporation. To this day, Israel has the highest percentage of recycled water usage, solar power per capita, and the highest density of eco-friendly companies. It came with a lot of difficulties though. They had to drain the swamps and replace them with citrus trees, terrace and spray the land, and change the irrigation canal flows to disrupt mosquito breeding patterns. After 20 years, the country officially became malaria-free. Even animals have seen a breeding resurgence, such as the Nubian ibex, oryxes, green toads, and the national animal, the hoopoe bird. Israelis might say that much of this agricultural innovation
Interesting.
oryxes, green toads, and the national animal,
The bird looks nice. The hoopoe bird.
the hoopoe bird. Israelis might say that much of this agricultural innovation is attributed to the kibbutz program. It's hard to explain exactly what a kibbutz is. It's like a
The small settlement in the southern part of Israel, where also people have been murdered by Palestinian militants on October 7th. But they also have been abandoned very much. I have heard by different people who lived there, by Israel over the last years, or many years. Yeah. The small communities, villages, which some of them have a very left-leaning, maybe even communist lifestyle. But maybe he will also mention about something about this.
program that pulls all labor and resources together for the sake of social and economic flourishing. It's kind of like a hippie commune, but without the hippies or drum circles and crystals, and it has like actual government-funded motivation. Actually, now that I think about it, it's kind of like the anti-hippie commune. Anyway, not all Jews are kosher, but the ones that are avoid anything with pork, and Israel actually has the highest percentage of vegans per capita at around 5%. Nonetheless, Israel's economy is more heavily based on free enterprise and entrepreneurship, as well as the science and medical sectors. To this day, over 4,000 tech companies and over 80 of the 500 largest tech companies in the world have subsidiaries in Israel. With limited space for agriculture and industry jobs, they realized, oh shoot, we kind of have to like make money off of ideas. But what's a great way to grow revenue without having to take up much space? Research and programming! Today, Israel has one of the best environments for entrepreneurial capital in the world, since venture capital investments rose from 20 to over 500 in the 90s. Tel Aviv ranks as the second most important technological center in the world after Silicon Valley, and has the third most companies listed on the NASDAQ after the US and China. Your iPhone hardware, Google's innovations, Intel microchips, all these things have some correlation to Israel's tech sector. In addition, they are the 34th largest economy in the world by nominal gross domestic product as of 2016. This means amidst the controversy, Israel kind of
I'm back. Let's just continue with the video.
moves forward in tech innovation. And that brings us to the climax of this entire episode. Who are the people living here and what is the story behind them? Here we go.
I'm not sure to what degree, but there are definitely a lot of Arab Jews, or I'm not, there's a special term how to call them, but Jewish people from the territory, also Jews from all other parts of the world, but also many European Jews or descendants from Europeans, and who came there at the end of the 19th century, at the beginning of the 20th century, settled in the region. I think after World War One they settled there. Some also maybe came during the Ottoman Empire's time, but I think the big migration waves came when the British controlled the region.
Now, here's the thing. In many ways, yes, there is a perpetual lingering ambiance of tension that hovers above Israel. However, the people living here today are now third, fourth, and even fifth generation citizens that still might carry the strife of their ancestors to some extent. But like we studied in the Iran episode, kids are more interested in entertainment and money than they are with ideological disputes. That being said, Israel has about 9 million people, and if you include the West Bank Palestinian populace, the number swells up to about 13 million altogether. And Israel is the only Jewish-run state in the world with about half of the entire world's Jewish population. Of the country,
It's also not true. There are roughly 12 million Jewish people in the world, and or 16, maybe 17 million, and I think 10 million or 9 million from this Jewish people live in the US. So I think Israel has around 40% of the Jewish world population, roughly 40%, I would say.
about 75% identify as ethnically Jewish, of which the majority at about 75% being Mizrahi Jews that originally came from the Middle East and North Africa. Then you have the Ashkenazis at about 70%, whereas Sephardic and African and Asian Jews rounding out the rest. Whereas the non-Jewish citizens number at about a quarter of the population, identifying mostly as Arabs. They also use the Israeli shekel as their currency, they use the type C, D, and H plug outlets, and they drive on the right side of the road. Now here's where things get pretty intense, because Israel has a very unique system of community and residency that isn't really found anywhere else in the world. First of all, I think this would be an appropriate time to mention that not all Israelis are Jews, and not all Palestinians or Arabs are Muslims. Israeli and Palestinian are nationalistic titles, not necessarily ethnic. There are tons of Christians that identify as either Israelis, Arabs, and Palestinians. Even a couple of Baha'i, Hindu, and Buddhist residents. And many of the citizens don't even practice religion much on a regular basis to begin with. Today, about 1 out of every 3 citizens were born abroad, and 9 out of 10 of the people in the country are either immigrants or descendants of immigrants. Part of the reason for this is because of the law of return, or aliyah, a unique immigration.
And there have to be something similar for the refugees, the Palestinian refugees, which breaks bad. If there should ever be a peaceful coexistence of Israeli and Palestinians in one state, then there must be the right to return for the Palestinian people as well. It is internationally recognized that they have a right to return.
Because of the law of return, or aliyah, a unique immigration policy that only applies to the state of Israel, which states that every Jew across the world has the right to come to the country as an ole, or migrant. To this day, non-profit Jewish organizations even fund birthright trips for Jews across the world, sponsoring a free 10-day heritage trip for young adults between ages 18 to 26. But how did all this start to begin with? Well, if you really want to tackle this, which I will try my best at doing, there's kind of like 2 sides to this story. One of them ancient and one of them modern. Throughout most of Jewish history, Jews were dispersed in diaspora across the world. However, there always seemed to be at least a few small communities left in Israel, especially around Jerusalem. Basically, the modern, keyword modern, state of Israel was initially conceived through the ideals of Zionism, which came into movement in the 19th century by this guy. He suggested that Jews should actively take measures to move back to the land of their ancestors. Over the years, more and more Jews moved in, the Ottoman Empire fell, and the land came to the mandate of Palestine under the Brits. The Balfour Declaration was made, the Brits handed the issue to the UN, and they agreed to set up a new country called Israel in 1948, which became the first time Jews had a state in over thousands of years. Now, if we're going to talk about the ancient history, then it gets way more complicated and touchy. What we do know about this area is that in the past it was ruled by multiple kingdoms, empires, and
I watched the episode before, but most of the stuff he's talking about I forgot or I don't remember at the moment, so most of it is also new to me. And whether there have now been a Jewish state thousands of years ago doesn't matter so much, I think. If they have to expel people who then lived there for hundreds of years peacefully, often together with Jews and Christians and in communities together, then it is not worth it. But yeah. I think it's weird to talk about history from 2000 years ago if we have very real history in the last hundreds of years, which and the people who then lived there, the Palestinian people, they have they have not expelled anyone from there. They have not expelled any Jewish people, but yeah, that's I think a stupid discussion about the old history, but anyway, yeah, it's interesting. I knew about the modern history that the British had this land and gave it to the Jews or created this state Israel, and yeah, I knew about this, but about the ancient history, I didn't know much.
Regional powers. However, like mentioned before, we do have historical data that tells us that there was an ancient Jewish inhabitation period in this place. There are some debates on the exact legitimacy of historical claims made on both sides, but contemporary historians, both religious and secular, do agree that there was at least for sure a first kingdom of Israel that existed somewhere around 900 to 1000 BC, as it was taken over by the Neo-Assyrians and then the Babylonians, as recorded by the Babylonian chronicles that match up with the claims made in the Tanakh, or the Old Testament of the Bible. Over time, the Persians came in, and the Greeks and the Romans and the Byzantines, each of them at some point recording some kind of document about a Jewish populace inhabiting this area. Again, these are outside, non-Jewish ancient sources matching up the claims that modern historians from all worldviews can attest.
I think he is doing this right now in this explicit way because some Arab or Muslim people would maybe say that it was anciently Muslim, or I mean, there was probably also parts of it which were this kind of thing. But maybe it's also true. I have not checked anything of this. But just because there had always been some Jewish communities and Jewish people living there in peace and in coexistence with other people, it doesn't mean that now is the time for colonization again and expelling indigenous people from their land. So, but yeah, history is important, but more important is the reality of the present. So just because we all came from Africa at some point, I don't have the right to create a right-only state in the center of Kenya or Tanzania or the Democratic Republic of the Congo, only for white people. So only because a long while ago my ancestors came from there, it doesn't mean that I have the right to create my own states now. Or East Africa is a region from Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, and so they could have the justification to say, any other country in the world could say, hey, we came from there at some point, so we have to take it over now. We should concentrate more on the reality of the present than digging in the past and try to find justifications for why we need this land. The indigenous population of North America could say, hey, we want our land back. Thousands of years ago it was our land, and now we have to expel the people who live there now, the Americans, to Europe. So you see where this argument gets very weak. I hope you see it. I think I just I will hold myself back with much comment about what should be a possible solution for this conflict. I have none. I cannot say anything about this.
So this is kind of the basis of where Jews make their claim towards the land of Israel being their ancestral homeland. They do kind of have a historical tie. Nonetheless, of course, that doesn't excuse the fact that during all the years of diaspora, numerous other people groups have moved in and grew generations of families that have built roots and homes there as well. When you talk about this type of thing, it ignites a passionate debate amongst everyone, and I'm gonna try my best to explain it. But before I do this little skit thing, I want to give you full disclosure. What I'm about to say is a conglomeration of information I obtained from you guys, the Israeli and Palestinian geographers that have contacted me via email. We had over 100 people from all walks of life from every region of Israel, the Palestinian West Bank, and Gaza explain to the best of their ability how they would address this conflict. I took as much as I could with as much rebuttals and support claim statements, and this is kind of what I came up with. Let's begin. Israelis, you have been disenfranchising our people with the world's longest military occupation, illegally grabbing land and subjugating our people to squalid conditions as you cut us off from resources and basic rights and privileges. We have offered to share two-state solution peace treaties 5 times in the past with you. The Peel Commission, the 1947 UN resolution, the Arab League Summit rejection of land offerings in the late 60s, the Camp David Yasser Arafat.
Okay, I have to say something. I'm sorry to interrupt it, but I think also the Palestinian Authority brought forward many times in the United Nations, in the General Assembly, a plan to peacefully settle the conflict, and Israel and the United States always vetoed this. I think that's something which happens every year, but maybe I have a link there in the description or in the next days. I'm not sure, but I think this happened nearly every year. The same with since many decades that Cuba demands an end to the blockade of Cuba from the United States and the embargo, which also always have an enormous support from nearly all countries, and only 2 states vetoed it very often. The Cuba thing and also the peaceful settlement of the conflict. I think in both situations it's the US and Israel. But I will have maybe a link in the description or in the first comment.
Rejections of the 90s and the 2008 Mahmoud Abbas offer rejections, and you still keep saying no. We are trying to work with you. We keep saying no because ultimately this is the land of our ancestors, and we won't accept a Jewish authority, especially one that was forced upon the region by colonial powers of Europe and further assisted by United States imperialism. Well, this was the land of our ancestors too, and far before the rise of any industrialized European power, let alone a caliphate or Islamic authority. Our prophets, even before Muhammad, a Muslim at this point would probably say peace be upon him, lived in the area as well, and the Arabs, not all Muslims but specifically Arabs, are the descendants of Ishmael, son of Abraham, as well as the true Muslim generations that lived and populated this area. Okay, that's a theological claim that we believe you believe. However, non-Muslims have a hard time believing it, considering that there are no full Quranic texts before the time of Muhammad to affirm his statements. Sure, maybe you are descendants of Ishmael, just like we claim to be descendants of Isaac, but they took over most of Arabia, not the Levant. And to us, it seems like the Quran was just inspired off of stories from the Torah, Tanakh, and New Testament in the Bible. Okay, that is incredibly offensive and wrong. Your scriptures were corrupted and re-revealed to our prophet by Allah. You're the ones that came in and pushed out hundreds of thousands of Palestinians during the 1948 and 1967 Six-Day Wars, and now you refuse refugees the right of return to their own homes prior to war times. Okay.
And the international law, I think, demands from Israel technically that they allow these peoples to return to their homelands, even if they of course ignore this. But I think that's something the international law, the General Assembly, which I think defines international law, has demanded.
Yeah, we did displace them, just as your Arab neighbors evacuated Jews from their lands that flocked to us. Why do you think there's like hardly any Jews left in former countries that used to have hundreds of thousands, like Morocco and Algeria? Arabs just started attacking us from all sides. We defended ourselves and won. And in post-war situations, it's not uncommon for the victor to repartition and consolidate land. After the Six-Day War, we weren't even obligated to offer a two-state solution, but gave Egypt the entire Sinai Peninsula back and offered you sovereignty, which you denied. Well, funny, because the way how you handle your sovereignty, which shouldn't exist, is a system that systematically oppresses us and blocked off neighborhood islands that you've created illegally and aren't even recognized by the UN. Well, what do you expect? We keep getting hostile threats and actions from literally every single person around us, and especially you. Gaza keeps shooting rockets to the point where we had to build that Iron Dome defense system. You've launched 2 antifadas against us with suicide bombers. Palestinians can enter our land through checkpoints, but Israelis are almost dead.
The intifadas they talk about right now, I think the first intifada, I think, was very peaceful, just protesters, and Israel reacted with violence, and the second and third intifada were then violent. I also heard this in videos from Hassan Abi and maybe others. Hopefully I find the links in the description. I mean, you can just check out my playlist with all kind of good videos. You will find these videos then also. But I think the first intifada was peaceful, and as the intifada, the protest was reacted to from Israel through violence. They changed the strategy of defense of resistance against the apartheid state to violence, which is of course not good.
Me if they even try to enter your neighborhoods. Yeah, except your military, which by the way, your military has killed thousands of our people in the process, including children. Your people have killed our people in the process, including children. Yeah, well, you've killed way more. You keep responding with a lack of cooperation and aggression. What do you want us to do? Just put down all our weapons and say, okay, we trust you? What would happen to us Jews if you took over? Do you really think we would be treated with equal rights and dignity in a...
That's of course a very weak argument. That's something I also white people in America argued. We cannot give black people equal rights. Or they what would happen then if we become the minority and they treat us the same way as we treated them? That's not a justification for keeping up oppression and discrimination. So the white people in South Africa also argued this way before giving equal rights to black people, and what happened? The black people treated the white people not the same way the white people earlier treated the black people, because it doesn't work like this. It's a stupid argument.
a Palestinian-run state? In a perfect world, we would ideally like you to just peacefully leave and return everything back to us the way it was prior to the British Mandate times. Maybe some of you can stay, but the whole nation would have to be run by Palestinians. No, we have a historical right to live here too. The UN at least acknowledges that. We've built up so much, and even though it's
That's why I say, some people say even all Israelis should leave the land because it is historic Palestine, and the British stole it and then gave it to the created a complete new state in it. But I say, one state solution, all the people continue to live there in peace and dignity and with equal rights. So, equal rights for everyone, right to return, reparations to the oppressed people, and war crime tribunals for everyone who committed war crimes on both sides. But yeah, this will probably, sadly, I hope it will never happen. I mean, I hope it will happen, but I guess it will not happen.
kind of messy, we're still doing a good job considering our quality of life. Ha! Yeah, your quality of life. Once again, treaties denied. We don't settle for your propositions. Guys, let's just chill out a little bit, okay? Here, I brought some bacon. Everybody loves.
This was amazingly good. I don't got all of the references, of course. I mean, but I think in the moment by now I got most of the references, but yeah, maybe something went over my head also this time. But much more, I know much more about this now. It was very good. I enjoyed it, and it really shows that there's a lot of work still to do. And there cannot be, I mean, a solution, a possible solution, which might exist someday, cannot develop just on one day. So it will take a lot of days, a lot of weeks, or maybe even years to find a solution with intensive talks, I guess. Yeah, but this part was really good.
Bacon. You want some bacon? That's not kosher. That's not halal. Get that away from me. It's turkey bacon. Oh, okay. This changes nothing. Guys, that was literally like the hardest thing I've ever written in a script. More than the Columbia cartel thing or the Macedonia dispute thing. I'm actually looking forward to North Korea. That's gonna be a breeze.
Probably. But yeah, it was very awesome, but it was of course a lot of work probably. So I really enjoyed it. And I look also forward for North Korea. I will maybe do it after this video at some point. Not today. Not today. Come on. But another day.
Anyway, I think it's important to note that this is just kind of like the dispute held by citizens that hold a strong sense of nationalism. Not all Jews are Zionists, and not all Palestinians want to deplete all Jews from the land. Sure, a sense of identity is still strong, but you have a society that is slowly becoming more and more secular and diversified rather than religiously stringent. The fact is, Israel is a melting pot. You walk down the streets of Tel Aviv or Haifa, you see whites, blacks, Asians, Arabs, Christians.
If this would be really the case, and I'm not sure about this, that people become more secular, this would be good news. This would become very, very good. This would be ideal. A religion can be awesome. Religion can do great things, but it also can hinder peace.
Hindus, Buddhists, Muslims, and of course Jews. There is no one Jewish culture since so many of them moved from diaspora. I mean, a Moroccan Jew will be.
That's also this is also the reason why claiming that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism or is equal to anti-Semitism is stupid. There's no one Jewish culture. Not every Jew in the world supports Israel. Not every Jew feels represented by Israel. I would even say most Jews outside of Israel don't feel represented by Israel. But definitely not all. So there's no one Jewish culture. There's also not one Muslim culture, not one Christian culture. And in this way, it is also stupid to claim that anti-Zionism is equal to anti-Semitism, because I am anti-Zionist. I don't think that. I mean, at least the modern current Zionism is definitely wrong. And I think it is a weird idea to create a only Jewish state. A Jewish religious state, the same way as I believe it is stupid to have a Christian state, a Muslim state, a Hindu state, or any other religious state, because I'm atheist. but yeah, it's definitely not the same anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism. Or it's not everyone who criticizes Israel, as I do very often, very harshly, is not anti-Semitist. And I also only criticize the Israeli government and its actions right now in Gaza and also outside of Gaza before October 7, its action and its policies towards the Palestinian minority and the occupied territories.
Probably different from a Russian Jew, but overall you see universal customs like bar and bat mitzvahs, yarmulkes, the weddings with those chuppah canopy things. Everyone celebrates Hanukkah, Passover, Yom Kippur, Purim, Rosh Hashanah, and Israel is also one of the few countries that not only has a military conscription requirement, but also for men and women.
I mean, it's fair towards women that they also have to serve in the army, but it's of course disgusting because it's a conscription, and I hate conscription in general. Finland has conscription, Greece has conscription, Russia has conscription, many countries have this, but it's I think in all situations wrong. And yeah, in a country which is also occupying territories and keeping alive an apartheid state, it's even more terrible to be part of the army. But this criticization also is towards other countries with conscription laws. It is wrong, it is disgusting. You should not force anyone to be a soldier, be violent, use a weapon. Yeah, I would never do this. I would go to jail. When I would be Israeli, I would maybe be in jail now, because I have refused to serve in the army. I wouldn't do this, I would never. Also, if my country gets attacked, I would never defend my country and fight against other humans with weapons. In a football match, maybe. In a video game, maybe. But never with real weapons against real human beings. I will never, I swear.
Starting at age 18. They benefit from a highly skilled workforce and is among the most educated countries in the world, with one of the highest percentages of its citizens holding tertiary education degrees. Israel.
And also the same in the Greece episode, I also say it here. You will not maybe not like it, but I say it. A conscription is and you see, I am consistent. I criticized a year ago the military and conscription, and I also do it now. I was maybe not as much educated about the conflict between Palestine and Gaza Palestine and Israel at the time, and now much more. But in the race, I was already had opinion. I keep this opinion, and I am consistent. In my opinion, really shitty. You should not force anyone to use a weapon to kill people or even to train to kill people. So conscription and also armies, in my opinion, as a pacifist, really, really shitty.
Has the highest standard of living in the Middle East and has one of the highest life expectancies in the world. Israel is also the only country in the Middle East that protects and gives rights to the LGBT community. Otherwise, some notable people of Israeli descent might include people like Natalie Portman, Gene Simmons, Bar Raffaeli, Ilan Ramon, Gal Gadot, Mayim Bialik, Nobel laureates Shimon Peres, Yitzhak Rabin, the first Arab Supreme Court Judge Salim Jubran, Guy Osieri, Golda Meir, Arnan Milkan, Omri Kaspi, Sharon Cohen, Yael Arad. Also, Albert Einstein wasn't an Israeli, but he was once offered the position of president of Israel but turned it down. There's also a lot more we could discuss, and I'm sure I missed out on a lot.
And this is it. I haven't heard about this with Einstein, but interesting.
But this video is already getting pretty long, and we gotta finish with the final lap in this Israeli-a-thon, shall we? Well, we've reached the last and final leg of this journey. Israel knows that it has a lot of tension daily, so in the half-past century, it's worked on kind of building up whatever diplomatic ties it could. First of all, India. Israelis love to travel there after finishing their army.
Okay, I have to talk about this. I heard that some of the weapons which are kind of tested by the Israeli Defense Force in Gaza, in the West Bank, against the Palestinian people, are now used in the Kashmir region to suppress the Kashmir people. I have heard this in a few videos. One of this I can maybe link in the description when I remember. And I know I heard this in many other videos that Israel and India have good relations I mean,
Army service, and President Modi was the first Indian premier to have visited Israel for a diplomacy talk. The two countries like to work side by side, especially on issues regarding the Middle East conflicts. In Europe, Germany and France and Russia seem to be the closest, as the largest number of Ashkenazi Jews migrated from these places. Many still speak the languages of their respective former homes.
Yes, Germany, a very big ally of Israel. Sadly, I experienced this. I mean, as a German, you know. I mean, there's nothing wrong in theoretical about supporting another country, but if this other country is an apartheid state and oppresses it's a minority in its own country, I mean in its country, that's, I think, very not good. I don't like apartheid states. I don't like right-wing governments, and I think most of the Israeli governments were right-wing. But of course, we have a historical responsibility. We murdered 6 million Jews, the people before me, and we will always have this responsibility. And that's why I think also this never again thing. We shouldn't try to prevent genocides, atrocities like this to happen ever again anywhere and everywhere in the world, and use our influence to try to prevent this. But we didn't do this. In Gaza we failed. 33 or 30,000 people are dead now, bombed and starved, and a much larger amount of people will starve in the next months. So we failed. With never again.
Homelands. Egypt and Jordan are the only two countries in the Middle East that have begrudgingly reluctant diplomatic relations with Israel after signing peace treaties in 1979 and 1994. However, overall, most Egyptians and Jordanians consider it an on-paper only relationship and otherwise have generally unfavorable views of Israel. Turkic Muslim countries, however, like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Turkey, all have diplomatic ties and embassies, mostly in Tel Aviv. Turkey was actually the first Muslim-majority country to recognize Israel's statehood, and even though recently there has been a little bit of political strife, the two still do business and trade like regular. But out of all of them, Azerbaijan is probably the closest. Not only do they have great trade and business and technology and oil and gas, but many Azeri Jews have either migrated or visit their families back in Azerbaijan annually. Nonetheless, no surprise, the USA is probably the closest friend. The USA has played a key role in the development and maintenance of Israel. The US has the second highest Jewish population after Israel. Many Jewish Americans have moved to Israel and have dual citizenship, and they cooperate on almost every level of business, military, and trade. In conclusion, over half the world seems to have an opinion about this small sliver of land that seems to have more drama than you can imagine. There is no quick solution to any of the issues currently at stake, and nobody knows exactly what the future is going to look like. Again, I'm not one to speak authoritatively on any of these issues, but what I can say is that listening, even if it goes against the core of your carnal urges not to, listening is an incredibly powerful thing. We should all start listening. Stay tuned! Italy is coming up next.
Yeah, it's right. I hope I didn't piss off too many people. But I stick with the thing I said about the military. Military is shitty and should not exist anywhere in the world. Hi, hello and welcome to the outro. You have now maybe already watched the entire rest of the video. I will now talk briefly about all of the sources I linked in the description, so you know what expects you, and what where I mean, it's not everything I have all of my knowledge from, of course, or my opinions, but these are good videos to watch and to maybe also learn something about this conflict, about the history of it, and possible solutions. When I first made the reaction last year, I was not claiming to have a good solution, but now I do this. As my ideal solution would be a one-state solution, where everyone lives peacefully together. I know that's very unlikely, considering the right-wing government of Israel right now, and the history and the situation and stuff what happened in the past. but it's my ideal solution. And I'm sorry if you maybe watch from Israel and are now very offended by what I said, but take a close look on what happens in the present and what happened in the past, and you may understand some of the things I said. It is really apparent and disgusting what is happening right now. And if you watch the news, if you have seen the pictures I have seen, then you also maybe think similar. Yeah, let's start. That's the first source, as you see here on the screen. It is original video from Jericho Finau. I like it. I am already subscribed. So do this as well. Subscribe for Jericho Finau. Watch with his videos. He makes great videos, and I'm very happy that he allows so many people, including me, to react to these videos. So that's great. I'm very thankful. And I already also supported him once on Patreon. In the moment I can't do this because I don't have the money. But when I do it, when I have a good income flow again, I will do it again. Because I think it's worth it, and it's kind of a little bit I give back to him. But yes, okay. First source, obviously the original video in the first link in the description. Second link is my old first reaction. You can also subscribe to me if you're interested, if you think that what I have done is good, if you agree with my position, or if you're curious about other viewpoints I may have to other conflicts and other situations in the world, then subscribe for my channel. I have not liked my own video, and I will also not do it. It seems a little bit weird to do so. This is another video from me. I published a month ago. I think it was the 16th of January. I'm not sure why it is saying 1 month ago, but maybe it was also in February. I'm not sure. But as the title says, I stand with Palestine, not Israel. I was already so disgusted in January on about what has happened so far until January in Gaza. Now the people are starving to death, and it is even worse. And most likely, it will even become more worse in the future. So, yes. No optimism. I am generally an optimistic person, but right now I don't see any reason to be optimistic in this regard about Palestine. If there is ever a Palestinian state, a sovereign Palestinian state recognized and free from oppression, then I will even maybe migrate there. I thought about this at least. It would be so wonderful. And all the Palestinian people I have met in the internet so far, and videos I have seen about Palestinian people, they are amazing, wonderful. I would even maybe want to be a Palestinian one day if this happens to exist one day, a Palestinian state, and I have the chance to do so. Maybe I would also keep my German nationality if I could have both. But yeah, that's something for the future, and let's see. But it would be amazing. At least visiting the state, and everything else I have to see in the future, of course. Next source. It is in the order in which I also talk about this in the video. It's I will probably not have like at the E always at the right point in the video that the link pops up in the corner, but in the description they have the same order as I talk about in the video. Yeah, this video here from Owen Jones is a little bit the reason why I made this reaction yesterday. Or to how late is it now? It's still March 9th, 7 minutes before midnight. But at 2 a.m. or 1:30 a.m. or so, I watched the video from him. I think this video, and I was so it made me feel so bad, and I mean, the purpose of watching this video is that you feel bad. As you may see here, I also wrote this comment here. Thank you for this painful truth. I feel ashamed of being a German, but I always stood up for Palestine, and I will never vote for any political party which supported things like delivering weapons to Israel or defending their genocidal actions at the ICJ or more. On my own small channel, I also multiple times mentioned the genocide and told people to try their best to do something. I know it's pathetically little, but I do what I can. I will never stop advocating for peace in the region, in this region, and also or anywhere else on this planet. And if there should ever be a free Palestine, I will maybe immigrate there, because these people are some of the most wonderful people I ever met. Ever heard of. I hope Israel and the countries which supported it, like my own damn country, get convicted at the ICJ. Free Palestine. So this after watching this video, which really put my feelings down, which is understandable, I decided to make this reaction, and here we are at the end of this reaction, and I show it to you. Take a look on it, watch it yourself if you want. Subscribe to Owen Jones. He makes great videos and also many interviews. I think he's a British journalist. Next video. The playlist. That's the playlist. I often mentioned good videos, all kind of stuff where all kind of good videos are put together, and I have to go through this list at some point and check if all of the videos are really worth it of being in this list. But after doing so, at some point, hopefully in the next days or so, I will be sure that everything is worth it. And the first video you see here from GDF with the title "I watched the uncensored Aaron Bushnell video." Aaron Bushnell, this Air Force guy in the US who set himself on fire in front of the US Embassy in Washington DC. He's a hero. It is a very a cruel way to protest, or extreme way to protest. But I understand somehow. I think I understand somehow his feelings. I also feel often very desperate and don't know what to do, because you cannot do anything really much, because most people at least are powerless. There are some people who can do things and who could change something, like for example Joe Biden, like Ursula von der Leyen, Olaf Scholz, the British Prime Minister, or many more. There are people who can generally do something, but most of us who watch the events happening in Gaza cannot do anything. We are powerless. So I understand. I think I understand his feelings. And what I have seen from him so far, which is of course not much, but what I have seen, he was not mentally ill or mentally I mean, he had no depression or so, as far as I know, and he did this not out of suicidal wish. He just was desperate and saw no other way to protest. In this video also, which is I think age restricted, but maybe I'm also wrong, but you have to confirm that you want to watch it, because it contains violence or there's violent scenes. But if you want, please watch it. And I think if you are not already if you not already think that this guy is insane, he was mentally ill and did this that's why he did this. If you are not already thinking like something like this, then it will generally bring the tears into your eyes. If you are a decent human being and you are also disgusted by what is happening in Israel, in Gaza, I mean, I'm sorry, I have talked already today so much. I hope I get this outro also done. So next video. This is a video. I think I mentioned it at some point. Israel apartheid against Palestinians, cruel system of domination and crime against humanity. It's from Amnesty International, and in the next video is Hassan Abi's reaction to this video. I think it is the same video he reacts to, but he definitely reacts to a video from Amnesty International about apartheid in Israel, and that's I think the video he is reacting to. And next video is how we got here. In this video, Hassan Abi talks about the conflict and the history of the conflict. I think he doesn't react to any specific video. More he just speaks about the conflict in general and puts up many different sources, which you can hopefully then also see in his video. And then if you want to check it up, check the sources yourself. I think this video is very good. It's midnight very soon. I think in just a few seconds. The next video is I mentioned this maybe as well. It's midnight now, so it's now the 10th of March. It's for everyone. So maybe because maybe in a few days or maybe even in a few hours there will be a ceasefire. I don't think so, but you can still hope. In this video, Hassan Abi and Noah Kulvin interviewed together Israeli Knesset member. I think I mentioned him. I said I suspect he lives in a different country. I'm not sure. Maybe he's still in Israel. But he explains about the view of Israeli towards the conflict and towards possible solutions. And it's very interesting. I liked it very much. It's amazing. I love it always when Hassan Abi or other people like Owen Jones or at Breaking Points or other channels where they have interviews, they talk to Israeli people, left Israeli people. He is, I think, a member of the Arab Jewish very left party in the Knesset. So very interesting. I recommend to watch this. In this video, Hassan Abi reacts, I think, to a TikTok video where a Zionist, a settler who lived in the West Bank, talks about how he stopped being a Zionist and talked to Palestinian people, traveled to Ramallah. I hope I pronounce this correctly, which is just a few miles away from Jerusalem. But yeah, very interesting, very very awesome. I like it very much. It's amazing to see this and to hear his experience. In this video, I think Hassan Abi, Ethan Klein, I think also Israeli, or he lives there, or he lived there at some point at least. And Hassan Abi talks to him over 2 hours, and Ethan Klein is very critical to at least some parts of like the this phrase from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. He is very critical towards this. Hassan Abi defends this as a defends this and explains this very good. Why he thinks it is not nothing anti-Semitic or so, but also about other topics like two-state solution, one-state solution. They talk about this very interesting as perspective. Many of you guys, maybe if you are more critical towards Palestine, understand or believe yourself in these positions. So maybe that's interesting to watch for you. Then there we have this video, which I think explains the conflict between Israel and Palestine and the history. I think this specific video talks about the 6 Days War and how it started. That Israel thought Egypt might attack them, but this video claims that it is a lie, or it was based on a lie. This conflict. This I think it is about the 6 Day War. In this video, that's just a debate between Norman Finkelstein and Rabbi Shmuley. I think it is more. I mean, it's more between Piers Morgan and Norman Finkelstein. I think Rabbi Shmuley is not really anyone you can take seriously. At least in this video, this becomes very obvious, in my opinion. Here's another debate between Piers Morgan and Norman Finkelstein. The other one is just, I think, 1 week ago. 2 weeks ago, and this here is 3 months ago. So, different points of time. Then we have here this real life law video I mentioned at some point. I think it is a video I was referring at the time to. I'm not sure, but this is a video I found which is a few years old, 2 years. Here we have the Wikipedia article of the Genocide Convention. I mentioned it at some point. Here is a website where I read the Article 1 of the nationhood law, which was put into law 2017. This video is very recommendable. It is about the apartheid state Israel and how it functions and how it everything you need to know about this, which is important, and why I think you cannot really be very chill in Israel. This video is also very, very, very recommendable, especially to people who are more critical to Palestine and a peaceful settlement of the a peaceful solution of the conflict. I recommend very much to watch it. It's amazing. It's a third last link in the description. Here is a Wikipedia article about Jewish population by country, where I claim that just 30%, or I say in the video I think 40% or so, but in fact it was just 30% of the world population, of the Jewish population live in Israel. I can show it to you here. 51% live in the United States, but here it's the second last thing. And then here's there are 2 more links. 3 more. Here is United Nations text about the. I said at some point that there were many also peace offers the Israeli denied and said no to. Here is another United Nations article about this. And last but not least, the video about the Kashmir region, how Indian weapons which are tested in Palestine kind of get used against the Kashmir liberation movement in India when it's about the foreign relations from Israel. Thank you for watching. I mean, I will talk a little bit more, but thank you for here are the sources. In the last 20 minutes, I talked about all of the sources in the correct order. The most important sources are this. I mean, all of the sources are important, but sources I really recommend are this Ethan Klein interview, the interview with the Knesset member, the videos from GDF, and the one video at the end. I think this is the 5th last link where I talked about this interview from this Israeli woman, which came from one of the kibbutzes and was and her relatives or friends were murdered by Palestinian militants, and she was making this video, I think, on Facebook. Hassan Abi reacted to it, and that's why I gave you the reaction from Hassan Abi and not the original video, because I don't have Facebook. But she was talking about how she felt abandoned by Israel and what kind of what she wishes might happen, like a peaceful solution to the conflict. From this one woman whose friends and relatives maybe were murdered. I'm not sure if only friends or also relatives. but she lived in one of the kibbutzes which was attacked by Palestinian militants, and her experiences is very valuable, I think, for all of the people who are more critical towards Palestine than others. But enough about the sources. This video is now over 2 hours long, and I'm very tired already, but I will edit it, finishing editing it and upload it tonight. Maybe it will take 6 hours to render it, to cut everything together, but then I stay up as long as necessary and do this. It is right now. I will also it's 1:10, 0:10. It's 10 minutes after midnight. 10th March 10th. I will also I mean, maybe I will write the time in the description. I've uploaded it, but I don't I can't put any more news into it. So that's the most recent data I can give you. March 10th, 0:10. I take a look on if something happened. On Al Jazeera. If there would be a peace treaty already now. Israeli bombing killed at least 82 Gazan people in the last 24 hours. So no peace treaty, no ceasefire. This would most likely be the headline on the top of the news. So I hope there will be a ceasefire soon. We need a ceasefire. It's most important. The peaceful settlement of the conflict takes years, maybe decades. But the genocide must end now. It's the only way aid can be distributed in an efficient way. Yeah, that's the only way. Otherwise, thousands of more people will die. I like the geography reaction from. I like the video from Paul from Geography Now very much. He was neutral. The same I also said when I reacted to Geography Now Ukraine. It is very good. I liked it very much. Also the Ukraine episode, and the especially the video about the Russia-Ukrainian conflict in 10 minutes. This video is amazing. Also, you will find, I think, a reaction on my channel. Also, you can search for Geography Now Ukraine, and then you find it. But yes, I like that he stayed neutral. That he tried to explain the situation as best as possible. And yes, if you can answer any of my questions I had during the from the video, like for example this tiny micronation inside of Israel, which at least once existed, then please do so. If you disagree with anything I said, also write it in the comments. Stay politely. I am also polite. And if you want to give me some suggestions for other videos I may make in the future, then please tell me. I hope there will be peace soon, a ceasefire, and then a peaceful settlement of this peaceful solution of the settlement of the conflict. Yes, and I hope, of course, that the war criminals like Benjamin Netanyahu, Smotrich, Ben Gvir, and all of the others get convicted at the ICC, which is unlikely, but you can still hope. Free Palestine, free Palestine. And I agree with Shinta, free Palestine. They deserve a state. They deserve freedom, dignity, and liberation, and a prosperous future. Thank you for watching.